we have more power and control over our reality than we think and that we're taught, right? And in order for us to come to this point and to this realization, we first have to stop fragmenting our psyche, right? At one point, when we were children, we didn't have a say into certain things, certain experiences that we went through. It was by design that we went through them, right? Not only did we as a soul chose to go through these experiences that I'm referring to, right? No matter which one they were. If you guys have followed me, you know my history when it comes to SA abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all types of abuse, right? At at an earlier age, when I was a child, these things were inflicted upon me, right? But again, one way that I was able to heal from it was by switching my reality, like putting the focus on I chose these experiences. What was I supposed to learn from these experiences, right? And so one thing that did help me with that was that the fact that while I was healing, I put in my mind that once I heal from this, I can be a light for other people to heal from it as well. For example, when it came to trafficking, right? When it came to SA abuse, those are big things that people get stuck in them and they go through addictions and their whole life they are just paralyzed by the pain and suffering that they endure, right? But for me, as I was choosing to exercise my free will and heal that through by doing the shadow work, by making sure that I was out in nature to regulate my nervous system, by making sure that I was taking care of my vessel, right? By taking sure that I was making sure that I was doing the shadow work and balancing my feminine and masculine side of the brain, right? I kept in perspective the fact that once I came up out of that, I would be able to go and speak to people that were at centers, right? Even the abusers, right? I would be able to say, you know what, you too are forgiven. God loves you too. It's about the experiences. It's not about like good or bad when it comes to coming into union with oneself. It's about the experiences that we gain out of that and how we may be able to help others to come up out of that as well, right? And as I put my focus into that, then, and like the reason behind the suffering, it was that I'll be able to help others, right? That, I could maybe go to one of these centers where people go and do the groups and they talk about the things that they've gone through, and maybe I'll be able to share my experience with them and I could inspire one of the girls there, right? Or maybe even give hope to a guy that was, the abuser of something, knowing that, we do forgive, right? And so I lost my train of track. But it's about when we're choosing to heal, when we're going through traumatic things, when traumatic things have happened, we can focus on who can we help later on overcome it. So I wasn't born in the United States, right? And the country that I'm at, that I lived at before, is a third world country, right? And then there's so many third world countries, right, where these things are common, right? And so also maybe like going out there, and even if it's not here because we have so many resources here, maybe like going somewhere else and bringing the message, or maybe teaching other people how to come up out of that, right? How to heal from that and have a normal life. And so that coincides with the message that I was delivering earlier about, the reason behind the suffering helps to subside the suffering, right? So although we've gone through it, although it was painful to us, when we're healing, if we choose to anchor ourselves in, well, my testimony will help many other people, right? Then that also helps us heal faster.